Let's talk about condition of your Pokemon cards versus the price of them. You know, it's a complicated word, so let's just get to it, right? And I'm just gonna start with something very simple. If it's less than $100, I don't care, and neither should you, neither should anybody else. Here's the reason: everything that's below $100 is below $100 for a reason, and $100 is not a lot in terms of collectible card games. Trust me. If let's say if I had to put it in very simple English terms, it's because there's a lot of it. It's because there's a lot. They call it a super rare, but there's so many of them. There are so many of them, and they've been printed 3 years ago, a year ago, a month ago, 5 years ago, that nobody has them in any other condition but near mint. All of them are near mint. All of them are packed fresh. Maybe 1 or 5 of them have nicks. 1 out of 2,000. And here's the deal. I'm going to pick on Rosa because I like the artwork. Here's the deal. If, let's agree, for the purpose of this video, Rosa costs $25. Raw, ungraded. Just there, $25. And there's thousands of them for sale. And you have one that's Sharpied. And you're offering, okay, I'm gonna sell it for $20. And meanwhile, all of them are worth $25 on the market. Who cares? Who cares about your discount, bro? It's $5. If I want a card, you know, if $5 makes such a difference to you, you have no business buying cards to begin with. Which is why, condition on low value cards doesn't matter at all, because I can just add $5 and buy a perfectly nice looking one. And which is also why grading all of these low value cards is extremely stupid. Not only you're paying like double the amount the card is worth just to get it put in a piece of plastic, but also, what's the difference between your card and the thousands and thousands upon thousands of them out in the market in the same condition? None of it. None of it. It's just that somebody looked at it and said, I'm gonna give this a 10. And so I'm gonna give a 10 to every other card that gets submitted. To every other Rosa out there is also gonna get a 10. Very rare, yes, very hard to get. The premium is definitely going to be worth like $0.01. Nobody cares. So once we have that established, that low value cards really don't matter when it comes, or like, no, but they do matter. The thing is, condition on low value cards doesn't matter when you're really trying to buy or sell things, unless it's like, I don't know, you have destroyed the card, then it's worthless. Obviously, in real life, this Rosa in the middle would be worthless. This would be $1 when you would be selling this to a store and trying to sell your collection or something. However, when we move to a more expensive cards, and the reason I call this slide I want the best is because it's a freaking stab at the Pokemon thing. I want to be the very best. So yeah, and we take, for the purpose of this video, I said this shadowless Charizard is worth $2,000. And you have it, let's say you have it, right? And we take the Charizard as an example. From the base set, it's shadowless, it's super rare. Hardly anybody has it in perfect condition. There might be like 3 other Charizards on the market, which in reality there are more like 50, right? But still, there might be like 3 other Charizards, or even 50 other Charizards. But all of them have like a stain from back in the day, like my base set Pokemon collection has from back in the day. There's stains all over that goddamn thing. Stains and Sharpies and pens. I don't know what I was doing to this thing. And for the most part, probably most of the available Charizards also are in this condition, which makes your Charizard in mint condition stand out. And let me tell you, when somebody has $2,000 to spend on a trading card, they don't freaking want at all anything to do with your crappy stained cards. Maybe some do. They still sell. But if I'm going to spend $2,000 on a card, I want it to look good. So I will pay a premium for it looking good. This Charizard to the left in the middle with a stain on it, this would probably cost you at least half, if not 70% of the card's value. Because I'm buying the Charizard because I want a Charizard for my collection. It has nostalgic value. I don't want a stained Charizard. Would you want a stained Charizard in your collection? If you're rich, if you're driving supercars and fancy stuff and you have a pool in your house and everything, you don't want that shit. You're not going to display it with a stain. You want it perfect, so I will pay additional money so to make sure I'm getting the best looking card out there. Which is the reason when you're dealing with higher value cards, you have to disclose every single nick, nook, cranny, whatever. Freaking Sharpie. Sharpies are the worst. Like, stain everything, every single damage, the hollow being all fogged up and everything. Everything is worth money in this situation because having them, those old cards, those old and rare cards be in supreme perfect condition is extremely rare. And having something extremely rare is prestigious. And we're paying for the prestige in graded cards, which is the reason if you manage to get an old Pokemon card like Charizard, a base shadowless, something like this graded, you will probably have at least double the money for the most part. If you manage to get it graded and get a 9 or a 10, bro, if you get a 10, don't get me started. You get the premium multiplier is insane because then not only, first of all, you have it authenticated, it's a real card to begin with. Second, it's graded, it's slabbed. It's probably one of just a couple in the world, which makes it extremely exclusive and prestigious, so that I can display it in my house as a conversation piece, or just for it to be my like a freaking prized trophy or a prized possession. And I'm going to pay through my nose to get that. And this is what you guys kind of have to understand, that grading cards was not invented for cards like this. Grading cards was invented for stuff like this. When you can, it only makes sense to grade a card when you know you can get a good grade, and that good grade will give you a massive premium. And I know the Pokemon market is so twisted that you can get a massive premium on a card that was printed last year, because there is a whole lot of Timmies that will immediately buy it just because it has a mint 10 next to it, while every other card can grade a 10. And there's like thousands of them. But if there are only 5 Charizards, bro, if I'm buying it, it has to be in perfect condition if I'm paying the premiums. If it has anything to do with nicking, with Sharpies, with pens, with stains, surface damage, scratches, off-centering, God help if it's a misprint. Some people care a lot about misprints. I just think misprints are dumb sometimes, but still. I will destroy your value if you sell it to me, if you sell it to a store, if I'm buying it from you. You want $2,000? Let's say I can buy a mint condition, Charizard, and you're trying to sell me a Charizard that's like with a freaking stain on it. I'll pay you $1,000 best, because it's kind of a shame this Charizard is destroyed. It's still a Charizard, so it's still worth $1,000, but the monetary value that you lose with those high value cards from having them be damaged, and by having and the monetary value that you gain by not having them be damaged is so substantial that it makes it worth to grade cards. It makes it worth to disclose everything, to actually examine the card really well. While meanwhile, when you're dealing with stuff like this, I know it's nice to have stuff like this in great condition. Of course, I want every card to be in great condition. I love all my cards, even if they're like a nest ball. Who cares? I love all of them. But just the value is not there. The premium is not there. Because if something happens to it, I can just go and pick up another one. It looks exactly the same. Doesn't matter at all. Maybe it's worth $200. Still doesn't really matter that much. I mean, sure, it's a loss because you're gonna have to sell it for like $160. But the dollar amount is so low, it really doesn't matter that much. So it's unfortunate. It's a money's world. It's a collectible trading card game that is run with money. It is all about money because it's a collectible. So people will pay to collect, and people will pay through the nose to have the best stuff out there. That's really my point. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you want to see more unfiltered, unedited videos with just me talking out of my head, with no BS, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just going to give you the straight truth every single time. Even if it hurts, it's still truth. Then head over to my channel.